The Orlando Magic are in an interesting spot because they're not good enough to make any noise in the playoffs, and they're not bad enough to have a chance at a top pick. They're just a mediocre team. Think of them as the NBA version of meh. Two of their better players in Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac play the same position and aren't very effective on the floor together. Mo Bamba, their former number 6 draft pick, can't even get consistent minutes as the backup center. And it's easy to forget that former number 1 pick Markelle Fultz is also on the team. Just 3 years ago, multiple analysts were comparing him to James Harden. In today's video, I'm breaking down the Orlando Magic and offering some things they can do to get out of NBA purgatory. How's it going, everybody? This is Troy, host of the Half Court Report YouTube channel, and for today's video, I'm going to focus on the Orlando Magic. And I did a similar video about how to rebuild a team with the New York Knicks, and I had a few comments requesting, hey, do a video about the Orlando Magic. So you know me, you gotta make my subscribers happy, so I decided let's do an Orlando video. And Orlando is in the news a lot because it looks like it could be the site of the continuation of the NBA season. Can you believe it? So details on that still being worked out. We don't exactly know how many teams are going to be there, what the playoff structure is going to be like. Are they going to have some regular season games, then jump into the playoffs? What's the seeding going to be? We don't quite know that yet, but it looks like July 31st is going to be the day when the season starts back up again. So July 31st to 7/31, let's do 731 likes on this video. Also, make sure if you enjoy the NBA and you like this kind of content, would love if you subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Twitter at Half Court Report. I would say the Orlando Magic is a more challenging rebuild because there are more questions than you have answers. And they're interesting because they made the playoffs last year, they're set to make the playoffs this year, but they don't really feel like a playoff team. If they were in the Western Conference, they wouldn't even come close to making the playoffs because they barely had a winning record last year. They're the 8th seed this year, and it's the argument that people have asked before. Is it worth it to make the playoffs just so you can get swept by the number 1 or number 2 seed? I think changes are coming for the Orlando Magic. Their team from last season to this season was virtually unchanged, and they have nothing to show for it. Their hope is for internal improvement, but that can only get you so far. Sometimes that doesn't even work out how you want it. Let's look at their roster and kind of see who we're dealing with on this team. At the point guard, you've got Markelle Fultz, DJ Augustine, and Michael Carter-Williams. At the 2 guard, Evan Fournier and Terrence Ross. At the 3 spot, they've been starting Jonathan Isaac there before his injury. Also, Wesley Iwundu, James Ennis, and Gary Clark backing him up. At the 4 is Aaron Gordon with Al-Farouq Aminu. And then at the 5, you've got Nikola Vucevic, Kim Birch, and Mo Bamba. It's important to mention that Orlando isn't going to have a ton of cap space to work with for next season. DJ Augustine and Michael Carter-Williams are expiring. They'll come off the books. That'll be about $10 million. I do expect Evan Fournier to opt into his deal at $17 million. And any moves that the team is going to do to shore up their roster is going to have to be done via trade. So that being said, I think the 2 best trade assets are Jonathan Isaac and Aaron Gordon. Seems like whenever you talk about those 2 guys, the next thing you talk about is, can they play together? Do their skills duplicate the other too much? Neither is a particularly good shooter. Both are better at the power forward spot. Aaron Gordon is definitely the better player now, but he's also older. He's had more experience in the league. Jonathan Isaac is more of a unicorn type player. He has that unicorn potential, but he's also injured a lot. I think if you choose to keep Aaron Gordon, that would signify more of a win now mode. If you're keeping Jonathan Isaac, that would signify that you're rebuilding. And the team has been going through rebuilding for years, it seems like, ever since they lost Dwight Howard. And regardless of who gets traded, and it could be as early as this offseason, and who you would need to get back would be a guy who can score and create his own shot. A shot creator would open up a whole new piece of the Orlando Magic offense. Since we're talking about the front court, we also have to talk about Mo Bamba. Bamba's interesting because this was a guy who they picked in the draft a couple years ago over guys like SGA, over guys like Michael Porter Jr., over guys like Kevin Knox.
What?
Okay, that's for the Knicks fans who are watching. Never made much sense to me for them to pick Mo Bamba when you had Nikola Vucevic. I had concerns that he was going to be more of a Hasheem Thabeet type of player, but it's like execs see that he's 7 feet tall, they see that he has a 7'10" wingspan, and they're just mesmerized by it.
Long arms good. 7 foot tall good.
He's coming up on his 3rd year. Not a ton of improvement on what you've seen from year 1 to year 2. So it's really time to see what you have with Mo Bamba. Can he put together a string of games where he impacts the defense? Can he hit the 3 at a consistent rate? The Magic tried to sell the fans on, we're picking Bamba and we're going to have that trio of Bamba, Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, and they're going to be young, they're going to be athletic, they're going to be flying up and down the court together all the time. That hasn't been the case. I'm going to ask you to guess how many minutes total you think the 3 of them have played on the court together in the past 2 seasons since Bamba was drafted. The answer, 29 minutes.
This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
It would take me longer to watch an episode of Pawn Stars than it would for me to watch all the highlights of Bamba, Gordon, and Isaac on the floor together. But there's no easy answers. You can't just trade Vucevic and hand the keys over to Bamba. The guy's not ready. But you need to make a point to give Bamba 20 minutes per game. Maybe you can even play him and Vucevic together a little bit. That's where Kim Birch comes in. He's been playing the backup center. He's a very tradable player. Am I the first NBA YouTuber to ever mention Kim Birch in a video? And finally, we got to talk about Markelle Fultz. This guy's NBA story has just been bananas, but Markelle, I haven't given up on you. I think Markelle Fultz still has a chance to be a really good player in this league. Much like Jonathan Isaac, I see him as pretty close to untouchable for the team. Markelle Fultz is interesting because he can get buckets whenever he wants. He can take it to the hole. He can finish at the rim. His numbers aren't going to jump off the page at you. Only 12 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists this year. He doesn't make a whole lot of threes, only shot about 25%. The part about not making threes is what's keeping Markelle Fultz from realizing his full potential in this league. That's what's really going to determine if he's a reliable starter or a high-level backup. There were red flags on this when he was drafted because he shot 65% from the line in college. That's not very good for a point guard. He shot 53% over his 2 seasons in Philadelphia. He's gotten a little bit better with Orlando, now shooting 72% from the line, which is pretty solid. But the shooting part of his game has got to come around. Maybe you can take his free throw improvements as a good sign. But being a more consistent shooter is also going to make him more dangerous going to the rim because the defense is not going to be able to sag off of him. There were times this season where the other team would just dare him to shoot because when you're shooting 25%, those are pretty good odds. A decision on Foltz will be something the Magic are going to have to make very, very soon. What kind of deal does Markelle Fultz get? That's going to be another big decision for the Magic. So like I said in this video, more questions than answers. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Orlando Magic. It's going to be interesting to see what direction they go in the draft, assuming they're in the NBA playoffs. Interesting to see if they're going to make any noise there. Orlando's been in the news a lot lately. This is going to be the home of the NBA for the foreseeable future, and I'm excited to see what happens. Tell me what you think in the comments. What moves do you want the Orlando Magic to make? What do you think about Markelle? What do you think about Bamba and AG and Jonathan Isaac? Let me know. Also, if you want me to do something like this for your team, let me know in the comments and I'll do it. 731 likes is our goal for this video in honor of the NBA starting back up on July 31st, 7/31. Make sure you give a thumbs up to this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. This is Troy with the Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, one more thing. Here's some more videos to check out on the Half Court Report channel. I hope you like them, and thanks for watching.